Today on Monkey Life, Jeremy heads to Belgium to collect 2 new stumpies.
He's a sweetheart, he is, isn't he? He's lovely. And you are as well. He says, no, I'm not. He says, I'm tough.
The team get ready to say farewell to 2 much-loved gibbons.
It will be an emotional thing to actually walk away and say goodbye to them, but they've got a fantastic future ahead of them.
And young Chimp Thelma gets the brush off. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
This is going to be the first day that they've ever stepped outside, ever, in their lifetime.
The park provides a home for more than 250 monkeys and apes from 20 different species. It's an early start for animal director Jeremy. He's on his way to Folkestone to catch the Eurotunnel to Belgium, where he's going to meet 2 new primates looking for a home. An animal rescue centre there contacted Alison a while ago about 2 male stump-tailed macaques they needed to rehome. The team at Monkey World have a wealth of knowledge and experience of stumpies, so Alison agreed the 2 males could join the park's resident group of 8. After a quick journey across the channel, Jeremy and Alan arrive as the sun comes up over the Belgian countryside.
There's Toto, who I've got a photo of here, who's an elderly... Oh, he's not quite so old, but he's a splendid-looking beast, and he's originally from Split Zoo, which closed down, and he's now living in this rescue centre. And there is another more elderly gentleman who is more comparable with the old guys we've got at home, who was originally rescued with a female, and the female has now since passed away. And so he is also on his way to come and live with us.
The 2 male stumpies are being cared for at this animal centre just outside the town of Genk.
Nice to meet you. I'm Niels.
Hello, I'm Jeremy.
Hi.
Hello, how are you doing?
Pleasant trip, yeah?
Yeah, it's all good.
Oh, well.
The traffic around Brussels.
Yeah, that's every day, so it's no coincidence, yeah.
The centre was set up to rescue and rehabilitate sick and injured wild animals and gives temporary shelter to many exotic species, rescued or confiscated by local government services. Their aim is to then place them in reputable zoos and animal parks around Europe.
Okay.
There they are. Well, this one hasn't a name, and this one is Toto. Some caretakers just call him Freddy. I don't know why, but it's a name that sticks, I think.
The Belgian centre doesn't have the facilities or expertise to introduce these macaques to one another, so for now they're living apart, but within sight of each other.
These males are now ready for a movement to Monkey World in Dorset. And we're very happy because they've been here with us like a year and a half. And now they're fully healthy, fit, and ready to leave. They need to go for us to take more animals and for them to get a permanent and better home.
You're a sweetheart, you aren't you? It's a good boy.
When does he go in your
Well, they're both my age as well. They're both 25 years old.
Okay.
We're born in the same year, so...
All right. He looks older.
Yeah.
No, sorry, he looks older, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a little ragged. And,
Yeah. He's a sweetheart, he is, isn't he? He's lovely. And you are as well. He says, no, I'm not. He says, I'm tough. He says, I'm not a sweetheart. Do they show aggression through the mesh, or...?
No, not at all, not at all. The first time we put them together, because this one was already inside and this one was in another enclosure, and we would put them together, they were investigating each other, and quickly we've noticed that they will tolerate each other. Okay. We don't know what the reaction will be when they're really close together, but none of our other animal keepers never Never encountered
That's
anything
really
like that.
useful to know that. It's also very reassuring. That can be a very great value to them when they, you know, when they move home.
When they first encounter other
move house,
individuals,
and meet some other grumpy monkeys as well.
Yeah.
Seeing the two Stumpies close up has left a good first impression on Jeremy.
I think they're fantastic, very, very positive. They're obviously in very good condition, and they're very relaxed. And there's no problem with us being here. They're not having negative reactions to seeing new people. So that's all good.
Jeremy plans to spend the rest of the day observing and getting to know the two macaques, Toto and the newly nicknamed Freddy. Early tomorrow morning, he hopes to encourage them into travel boxes so they can head back across the channel to their new home at Monkey World. The park thrives on family life, although not always in the conventional sense. Building relationships with others is often the key to a happy life for the primate residents. But change is part of family life too, and that can also be beneficial for the apes and monkeys the team care for. Youngsters grow up and move on to start their own families, and those left behind form new groups and relationships. In recent years, golden-cheeked gibbons Kim and Tien were united in their own enclosure and have since become a loving, devoted pair. And a few months ago, male orangutan Kai, together with Linga and Jolie, moved as a breeding group to start a new family together in Spain. Now it's time for two more primates to move on. 7-year-old Mikado, currently living in the park's first ever bachelor gibbon group, is going to be paired with 8-year-old Tia Nang. Tia Nang, meaning ray of sunshine, was born at the park in 2009 to mum Peanut and dad Peng Yo.
Mikado and Tia Nang have been chosen as a pair bond because, one, they're completely unrelated. You know, Tia Nang's parents both come from the wild. They're totally unrelated to any of the other captive populations. Mikado has no connection whatsoever to her, and they're of the perfect age. Right now, at 7 and 8 years old, they are absolutely ideal to just, you know, go out and start their life together. This is the time that normally young gibbons would be just leaving home and finding that partner in a wild environment. So it's the perfect time for them. It's the ideal opportunity. And on paper, they should be a perfect match.
The couple are to move to a wildlife park in France and live in a brand new complex built just for them. The French park contacted Alison because they were developing the new gibbon habitat and knew that Monkey World had golden cheeks to rehome. Over the years, the team has rescued golden-cheeked gibbons from many different circumstances and has also had some born at the park. If Mikado and Tia Nang are successful, it will be down to Tia Nang's wonderful upbringing.
Obviously, having two very strong, fit, healthy parents who've got a pair bond, you know, she's watched how her mother has interacted with her father. She's also watched how her mother has actually reared another child as well, which is really crucial for Tia Nang. She had that relationship herself with her mum. She also saw her mum with her little brother. So that is a fantastic thing for Tia Nang that she can take into her future. If her and Mikado do actually, you know, succeed and create a baby, then when that baby comes along, Tia Nang should know what to do because she saw her mum do it.
Mikado had a vastly different upbringing. He was born in a zoo in France, but when his mum sadly passed away soon after his birth, he came to Monkey World to be hand-reared as an orphan infant. Later, he moved in with elderly one-armed gibbon Alex, who acted as a surrogate mum, until he moved in with the bachelor boys quite recently. He's never experienced a proper family life with parents and siblings, so for him, this is going to be a completely new and challenging experience. At the moment, the two gibbons are still living in their respective groups. Rather than introducing them here at the park, with all the stress and pressure that may entail, the pair will travel in separate boxes and will meet once they arrive in France. For Kat, this will be a very emotional time.
When you work with the guys and you've known them from tiny little babies, obviously you build a relationship with them and you have a lot of interactions with them, and they're part of our life on every single day. And it will be an emotional thing to actually walk away and say goodbye to them, but they've got a fantastic future ahead of them. It's also a very exciting opportunity for them.
But for now, they still have a few weeks to enjoy being with their friends and families. Mikado with the boys, and Tia Nang with her parents, Peanut and Peng Yo. At the park, the primate care team are busy getting bedrooms ready for the new arrivals. Stumpy's Toto and Freddy will move in as soon as they arrive and stay until they're ready to merge with the rest of the group.
We need to fill the water bowls up.
When they settle down, the staff will begin introductions to the 8 resident stump-tailed macaques.
I'm just putting up a bit of browse to make it look nice and green. They can eat it, but also just kind of provide some visual barriers from our guys. We have 8 stump-tailed macaques here at the park already. They're going to be very interested in these new guys. So it's just a way of slightly disguising the other monkeys. Obviously, they're still going to see them. They can move this if they want to, but it's just to help them out a little bit, help them settle in a bit.
Apart from Flo, who came from a Munich rescue centre, all the current group of macaques are former British laboratory animals, most of whom came from a site in Scotland in 2010. As lab animals, they were kept in a confined area with minimal space to move around. Their lack of essential exercise, combined with a poor diet, meant that they were all seriously overweight when they arrived at the park. They all had large bellies and sagging skin. But 7 years on, the group are a lot healthier, although still with saggy skin. Meeting 2 new housemates, particularly males, may invigorate the group and will certainly prove interesting.
It will be nice to have a bigger group again. Our guys are particularly grumpy stumpies. We don't know whether that's because of their background. They're all lab animals, apart from Flo. So whether they like people less because of that, we're not really sure. So introductions may be difficult. There may be testing. It's 2 new boys come in. We currently have 2 males in this group. So it's probably going to be a long, slow, drawn-out introduction process. But as we learn about the new ones and their temperament, we'll have an idea of who we think we can best put with them sooner rather than later.
While they're waiting for the newbies to arrive, the Stumpies are getting a change of menu. A healthy snack of celery. As part of their carefully controlled diet, celery's perfect for the slightly larger members of the group because it's very low in calories. The team have been really successful at reducing the majority of the group's weight, but it's a little trickier with some of the higher-ranking members, such as Noreen and Kelly, who often help themselves to more than their fair share. Leader Sam seems to have developed a real taste for this low-calorie meal. And Charlie's really making short work of it too. Noreen, on the left, is happy to sit with Sam as she tries to store as much as she can inside her cheek pouches for later. But low-ranker Flo has to watch and bide her time, while the more dominant members of the group tuck in first.
The Stumpies have a fairly similar kind of hierarchy to as wild Stumpies would have. So we've got dominant male, which is Sam. He kind of inherited his position rather than having to fight for it, whereas we lost some of the older boys over the years. He's kind of become the top dog. So we do see that typical male-dominated hierarchy, and the girls do have the very set hierarchy amongst themselves as well. So it's going to be interesting seeing how that kind of affects the boys' positions in the group and where the new boys will fit in.
It won't be long before the Stumpies discover they'll be sharing their food with 2 more of their own kind, Toto and Freddy. But until the introductions are done, no one's sure who'll be first to the food then. It's mealtime at Hananya's enclosure. The chimpanzee's diet consists mainly of fresh fruit and vegetables, and today, thanks to a large donation, they're getting whole, round courgettes. To provide a bit more of a challenge, primate care worker Rachel's putting them right across the enclosure. Some are hidden, others up high, and a few go in the pond. Chimps can't swim and aren't too keen on water, but they will wade in if they think the reward's worth it. As soon as the group are let out, leader Hananya begins his morning patrol of the area to make sure everything is safe. With Hananya's mind on his leadership duties, some of his troop, like Kiki, have already spotted the courgettes and started grabbing as many as possible. Then it's just a matter of racing off to make sure they can hold on to them. Youngster Thelma makes sure she's got one and is delighted. But hanging on to the treat is another matter. Female Johnny has spotted her and moves in to try and steal the courgette. Thelma is having none of it. She's very quick and agile, and 17-year-old Johnny's no match for her when it comes to zipping around the platforms. A frustrated Johnny turns her attention to Kiki's veg. Johnny's a high-ranking female and has no qualms about throwing her weight around. When poor Kiki tries to offer her hand in friendship, she gets short shrift. It's an important part of chimpanzee life, establishing the social hierarchy. Finally, Johnny gives up trying to steal breakfast from the others and decides to grab one for herself, although she's left with the slightly trickier option of reaching into the pond. Honey tentatively braves the water too, but takes the easier route rather than risking getting wet. Arthur is quietly enjoying his until Thelma comes a-calling. But even a little cuddle isn't going to persuade him to share. So, Thelma decides to drop in on Cookie, but she's no pushover and gives the youngster a firm brush off. It seems all the chimps have managed to grab at least one courgette, and while some, like Trudy, prefer to eat in peace, others like nothing better than sitting and eating together in a large social group. And when you've had enough, it's time to relax and digest the delicious veggie breakfast. Unless you're Thelma, that is. As far as she's concerned, life is just one long play session. "400 miles away at a wildlife rescue centre in Belgium, Jeremy has been getting acquainted with two male stump-tailed macaques. The centre rescues and rehabilitates wild animals, but can't offer them a full-time place, so Monkey World have agreed to take them in. The Stumpies have been in Belgium for more than a year, while arrangements were made for their move to Monkey World. Toto came from a zoo in Croatia, and Freddy from one in France. Both animals are around 25 years of age, but the two could not be more different.
Toto is really dominant male. He shows that he has a lot of strength and a lot of power in him. And the other one is a really calm individual. But both now have been a couple of months next to each other, and we see that the interaction with each other is really, really nice, and we don't expect any difficulties with the introduction of a bigger group. So it all will turn out smooth, I hope so.
To take the Stumpies to their new home across the channel, Jeremy needs to load them into travelling crates. But it's not an easy task. Toto is feisty and strong, so Jeremy decides the best option is to anaesthetise him. The centre's resident vet uses a blowpipe and dart. And it doesn't take long for the anaesthetic to take effect. In the bedroom next door, Freddy looks on as the vet performs a quick health check before giving Toto the all-clear to travel. It's also a perfect opportunity to get an exact reading of his weight.
10,5 zoiets, ja.
10 kilo, 500. 10 kilo, 500. 500, 10.5 kilos. Mm-hmm. Okay? Can you remember that?
Toto is put in the crate to recover. It'll take about 30 minutes for him to come round. He's also given a light sedative to keep him a little drowsy. so he doesn't get stressed when he wakes up in the crate. Freddy is a little bit more laid back than Toto, so the team decide darting won't be necessary. Instead, they opt to catch him with a net. But they need to be quick off the mark. And they are.
Well done. Good job.
Again, the team take the chance to check out Freddy's weight, and they're quite surprised.
He's 3 kilos heavier. It's all that hair. He looks a lot bigger because of all the hairdo.
He looks bigger, yeah.
Toto's big fur coat is misleading. Underneath, he's not as big as he looks. Jeremy has a real soft spot for stump-tailed macaques, also known as Old World monkeys, which includes many species from Africa and Asia.
They're just sort of tough, and you know they're not precious in any way. You know, I mean I love woolly monkeys and gibbons and all the rest, but the wind changes direction with them, and they'll have a fit. Oh God, I'm going to have anxiety. I'm going to get stressed and all the rest. Whereas these things just take it on the chin. It's a real shame, but because they are so tough, then people treat them badly and they get away with it. And I think that's dreadful. I think that's I really have a problem with that. And I suppose that's why one of the reasons I got such a soft spot for old world monkeys, baboons, macaques. You know, just because they are tougher isn't a reason to treat them like, you know, like it doesn't matter.
Once Toto has come round from the anaesthetic, it's time to load up both macaques, ready to begin their journey to the UK.
Okie doke.
There we
Right,
go.
right, well,
We've loaded it.
yes, okay, you can go back to bed now.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
right.
can head on.
Okay, thank you, well.
By tea time, Toto and Freddy will have a new home at the park, where 8 other Stumpies will be waiting to meet them.